What is going on, guys, and welcome to yet another episode of the absolute worst gaming show on the internet, Gotti's Corner, episode 6. Today we're going to touch on a few things. We're going to touch on co-op with your kids. We're going to touch on the Horizon Forbidden West reveal. We're going to do a little bit that I had requested from my homie Cam. Shout out to Cam. And then at the end, we'll hit a little bit about E3, but we'll save the gist of that for a later video. So first off, co-op. If you guys are like me, you've played many a mediocre game that was literally saved by having co-op. Whether it was back in the day on the N64, whether it was on the regular Xbox, case in point being the Operation Sandstorm game, and I think it was called Operation Iraqi Freedom. Those games weren't stellar hits by any means, but all I can remember is staying up all night with my buddies, doing our thing, if you know what I mean, and just enjoying the hell out of that game because we could play it together, and it just made that game that much more enjoyable. So for me, co-op has always made games better. Again, it can take a mediocre game and literally save it. My homie Jado was my partner in crime with co-op for years. He's my best friend in real life. I remember when we first booted up Gears of War on the 360, we dove in co-op, and we were standing there in the spot where the first tower falls and breaks and busts everything. If you guys remember how good that looked back then, we were just completely blown away. And while it would have looked awesome if I was playing by myself, playing with him and hearing his reaction, I'll never forget it. I remember exactly where we were standing. I remember where I was sitting when we were playing. Everything about that day, I remember it. And I think, and I firmly believe, that's because, again, co-op takes games to another level. That being said, that is why co-op with my kids is so awesome. What you're looking at right now is my oldest son and I playing Borderlands 3. He's over on his Series S. I was on my Series X. Both get the next-gen treatment. For whatever reason, the Series S, I know you guys in the comments are going to talk about it's a trash console, whatever. It's a perfect console for kids, guys, at the $299 price point. But that's a whole nother story. But for whatever reason, his does not have a resolution and performance toggle. It's just automatically defaults to, I think, 1440p 60 frames. It's clearly going to drop. I believe it's dynamic res, but he's playing it at 60 frames on his Series S. I'm over on the Series X playing at 4K 60 dynamic, obviously. And we had a blast, guys. We started playing at like 9 o'clock. We didn't get finished until like 2:30 in the morning, and that's only because I said, hey, buddy, we got to call it a night. My youngest son, I would love to play some games with him, but right now he's in this phase where all he plays is Minecraft and Roblox with his buddies. He's not real big into console, even though he has an Xbox One S. I actually offered to buy them both Series X's. They didn't want them at the time. So then when the Series S became available recently, I offered to buy two, one for my oldest, one for my youngest. My youngest wanted a PC. You guys know that from an earlier video. Anyway, he's into different games, so we haven't really had a chance to dive in together on any co-op. But as far as my oldest, we're going to play Destiny 2. I'm going to get him on the Division 2. It's just an endless array of great experiences that we're definitely going to be able to have. And hopefully my youngest kind of evolves with his gaming, and we can start enjoying some things. But I know Borderlands 3 is about to be cross-play for Xbox and PC. I think T, you're the one that texted me last night and told me about it. I don't think it's coming to PlayStation. Hit me up, man, because we're going to be grinding this Borderlands 3 out. I never beat Borderlands 3. It's crazy. I got this huge freaking Borderlands 3 poster, or whatever you want to call it, advertisement poster that I got from GameStop. Shout out to the manager at GameStop for hooking me up with that. But I never finished the game. It's crazy. But, you know, it's just so awesome for me, guys, to see my kids growing to love this hobby that I've been enjoying since I was 5 or 6 years old. They were literally raised on gaming. My girl has a picture of my youngest son when he's like, guys, he was probably He wasn't even 2 months old. He had to have been a newborn. Laying in my lap, and I'm sitting there with my hat on backwards, looking young and stupid, and I'm clearly playing COD. I guarantee I was playing COD, and he's just chilling. And I remember handing him the controller. I know you guys with kids have all done this. Handing him the controller that wasn't plugged in, and him thinking he was playing the game. But they were literally raised on gaming, and that's what makes it so awesome to be able to enjoy co-op with them. It just totally takes the gaming experience. It just totally takes that, and it makes it hit completely different. And I highly recommend it, guys. If you guys have kids that are into games and you haven't tried co-op with them, I highly recommend that you do it, because it's just an awesome chance to get to bond with the kids, and it's just good to see them enjoy this hobby that we've grown to love throughout the years. Moving on. Horizon Forbidden West reveal was yesterday. Okay, there's several things that I took away from this reveal. Number one, I'm wondering why it was streamed in 30 frames. And not just the stream, but the re-upload that Sony put up immediately after the reveal was also 30 frames. It was in 4K, but it was in 30 frames, which really worries me, because my thing is this, guys. I really liked what they showed as far as gameplay. Visually, it looked great. I did notice some things that you can see it's kind of held back since there's going to be a PS4 version. Nothing crazy. The gameplay, it looked phenomenal to me. It looked awesome. But the voice acting, by the way, even looked like they had improved since the last game. But here's my thing. If the PS5 doesn't have a 60 FPS mode, it's going to be a huge letdown, and it's going to be a huge no-go for me, which is horribly unfortunate considering I really enjoyed the first game. But you guys know my opinion on this. Number one, I can't see Sony not giving us a 60 FPS option. And the reason I say that is, and forgive me if I hurt any of your soft feelings out there, but nobody, I repeat, nobody should accept 30 frames per second on a game in 2021. I was just speaking to my man Cam the other day, and how it killed me to have to play games. Some of these classic bangers like Death Stranding, my game of the year for the year it dropped. Just some of these bangers we were having to play on the Pro, and we were having to play them on 30 frames. And I hated that so much that it's to the point where in 2021, none of you should accept 30 frames. Also, none of you in 2021 should accept 900p on the Xbox Series X or S, even if it is 60 or 120 frames. No one should be playing a game in 2021 in 900p or at 30 frames per second. It simply should not happen. These consoles are more than capable of a much better performance level. Now, I know that they're not doing anything with code, so clearly they're not going to tap into code or anything like that for res bumps. I know Arsenal, shout out to him. He left a comment in the last video, and I agree with him totally. It's just not, it doesn't make good business sense for Microsoft to go back, mess with code, bump these resolutions up in some of these FPS boost games. But if Horizon Forbidden West has no 60 frames per second mode, number one, it's going to be a huge epic failure, in my opinion, for Sony. Not in sales-wise, but just in general. And I'll wait for it to come to PC. I know a lot of you right now are pissed off. I see YouTube. I'm not on social media, so I don't really see any of that. I do get text and a few messages here and there about the internet is just going crazy about Sony's games going to PC. I think it's a great thing. I think it's awesome that Days Gone's on PC. I think it's awesome that Horizon Zero Dawn is on PC. I think it's awesome that, from what I hear, Uncharted 4 is coming to PC, which is, by the way, I think you can play that at 60 frames on the PS5 now, though it takes a resolution hit. Again, we should not be taking resolution hits on these new consoles. knowing what I know about hardware, these machines are more than capable of running these games at acceptable resolutions and frame rates. It's just, there's just no other way around it. But yeah, so anyway, moving on. Shout out to my man Cam. He wanted me to touch on something, and I've been promising him I would. I keep forgetting. And he wanted me to touch on being older and not having time to play games. There's nothing like the good old memories of just being able to stay up all night with your homies, playing games. You had a buddy over. You had no life responsibilities. You stayed up all night. You got up early. You played games all day long. Nothing could stand in the way of that. But now, life definitely gets in the way, which again is why gaming with my kids just makes it even more awesome. I'm currently a full-time student. I'll be graduating in March with my degree in health informatics. My girl's a full-time case management nurse. The kids just finished this school year online due to COVID. So to say that time has been limited and times have been stressful around here would be a complete understatement. And this is why, guys, I normally don't beat a game more than once. Back in the day when I was a kid, had zero responsibility and had the time, you guys remember beating games 36 times, knowing levels inside and out. Some of you still do that now, and I'm not mad at you if you have the time. But with kids and everything that's going on, I just don't have time to go back and try to platinum a game or go back and try to finish a game twice. I beat them, I move on to the next one. But it's life, guys. Life just kind of gets in the way of that. And again, I think that's what makes games so great as an adult. They become an escape from the grind of our daily lives. Again, I highly encourage all of you who have kids that are into gaming to dive into some co-op with them. Take the time to bond with them, because there's no better feeling than mowing down enemies than mowing them down with your kids. But we got E3 coming up. I'll touch on that in the next video. But briefly, I'm expecting a lot of the same from Microsoft. I'm expecting, we bought this studio, or this game is coming soon. I'm expecting a whole lot of that. But what I'm hoping for are some 2021 release dates on some good exclusives. Look, at this point, Microsoft, I'm not asking for any 10 out of 10 bangers. I just want a good exclusive or two to play from you guys. I want a good game that I can show off the power of the Series X, that my son can show off the power, I know you guys are going to kill me in the comments for that, of his Series S. I just want a good game out of Microsoft. Sony, I think, is sitting this one out. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Last I heard, they were anyway. But if they aren't, I expect the usual from them. And let's be honest, guys, Sony really hasn't slowed down. I mean, we got the Horizon Forbidden West reveal. And Sony's going to do Sony. They're going to keep dropping hits. This generation isn't going to be any different from any other generation from Sony, other than PC getting some of these tremendously good exclusives. But the biggest thing I can say about E3 is I hope that Microsoft shows us some things. They're doing a lot of good things right now. With Game Pass being, to me, the best value in gaming. I'm not really so sure if it's the greatest thing for gaming, but it's a great value and I enjoy it. I know all my homies enjoy it as well. The FPS boost, even though, like I say in the last video, the resolutions on these games, on some of them, are just complete and utter garbage and unacceptable, but it's still a tremendously awesome feature. Auto HDR. Now we just need some stellar exclusives, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Anyway, we'll touch on all that on E3 later. I want to take this time to say that I appreciate you all. Obviously, this is an extremely small channel that I've put very little effort to since I started it. And I've been trying to pump out more content, been trying to bump up the quality just a little bit and take it a little bit more serious. And I appreciate all of you that have stuck with me, all of you that do drop comments, likes, all this kind of thing. I know a few of you personally, and I appreciate you guys. But that's all I got for you guys. That's been it. Gotti's Corner, episode 6. Feel free to chime off in the comment section. Feel free to dislike if you want. I know some of you come here just to dislike, and I appreciate you guys too, because that's a view. So that's all I got for you. Chime off in the comments as always, and keep it gaming. Gotti360. I'm out.